So yesterday I posted why Jermell Charlo defeats Canelo Alvarez. So I felt today it would be fitting to make a video saying why Canelo Alvarez defeats Jermell Charlo. And tomorrow I'll be making my official final prediction video telling you guys exactly who I'm picking and how. However, in this video I'll be giving you my exact reasoning for why Canelo Alvarez defeats Jermell Charlo. This is a fight that I am looking forward to because even though it isn't the fight we should be getting, it is going to be a massive fight. It's going to be a very interesting, just not a real fight that we really expected, and because of that, it's really interesting and very unique. So the first reason for Canelo Alvarez defeating Jermell Charlo, and I believe this is the most obvious one, the one that we can all agree with, and if you disagree with this, you're really can't respect your opinion genuinely, and that is size. Now, I don't care who's the taller of the two guys. Yes, Jermell Charlo is taller than Canelo Alvarez, but any person that tries denying that Canelo Alvarez is the bigger man is completely offline and completely incorrect. Canelo Alvarez was basically supposed to fight at cruiserweight for the WBC title, 200 pounds. That fight was supposed to happen against Ilunga Makabu sometime back. This guy is a big dude physically. He is huge. And Jermell Charlo is a big guy for 154, right? There's a reason he's moving up two weight classes to fight Canelo Alvarez. But he is not that big. There's a big size difference between the two fighters. Canelo Alvarez is much physically bigger, and because of that, he has a huge size advantage, and he'll be able to use his size and impose it on Jermell Charlo. Being the bigger man does have some negatives, such as speed. However, overall, it gives him many benefits, specifically strength and durability and being able to take the shots well and using your physicality, imposing it. And Canelo Alvarez will have a big advantage on size. This is a guy who fought at 175 that was supposed to fight at cruiserweight. This is Jermell's first time fighting above 154. I've seen people try to debate that Jermell Charlo is a bigger guy than Canelo Alvarez. Now, there's pictures on the internet where Jermell does look bigger than Canelo. We all know he's taller than Canelo, but he does look bigger in some of those pictures. But those pictures were taken in, 2015, 2016, when Canelo was still fighting at 154 or 155 as he used to fight at. That was a long time ago. Canelo has grown considerably. I'm not going to get into how he grew so much, even at being in his mid to late 20s, but he grew a lot since then, and he has a natural size advantage. The second reason is power. Jermell Charlo has been getting a lot more knockouts recently, and I feel that he does have a better knockout percentage in his big fights and in his most important fights of his career. However, those were at 154, and Canelo Alvarez is definitely a bigger puncher than Jermell Charlo. He's going to crack that chin early, I believe, and he hits considerably harder than, or decently harder than Jermell Charlo. He's the bigger guy, so because of that, he has the power advantage, and that will be apparent on fight night. The third reason is experience. Now, Jermell is not an inexperienced guy at all. He's gone undisputed. He's had multiple title fights. He has had title defenses. He has lost fights, or he's lost a fight. He's avenged a loss. He's avenged a draw. He's had tough fights. He's had dominant fights. He's had one-round KO victories. This is a guy who is experienced, and he has been around the block. However, Canelo Alvarez is considerably more experienced. No one can deny this. He's had way more title fights, way more big fights, fought at multiple more weight classes, has fought the better opposition. If you look at their best career wins and accolades, Canelo Alvarez has fought Triple G twice, Sergey Kovalev, Dimitri Bivol, Floyd Mayweather, Erislandy Lara, Miguel Cotto, Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Plant. I mean, the list goes on and on. Canelo Alvarez has fought a bunch of fighters throughout his career. Not all the fighters we've wanted to see him face, but a lot of high-level opposition. While Jermell Charlo, yes, he's fought some really good fighters. Brian Castano twice, Tony Harrison twice, Jason Rosario when he had a lot of momentum. He's fought Vanes Martirosyan, right? He's fought some guys, but Canelo has a huge experience advantage, as well as you look at their pro fights. Jermell Charlo's had, 36 fights, 37 fights? Canelo Alvarez has had over 60 pro fights that we know of. Allegedly, he's had even more than that really early on, and he was super young. So Canelo's had way more pro fights, and he's a much more experienced guy at world level, so that's another reason for him. The fourth reason is activity, and this is not in-the-ring activity when it comes to who throws more punches. This is activity when it comes to who fights more. Canelo Alvarez has been fighting considerably more consistently than Jermell Charlo. He's taken way less layoffs, and he's been in the ring much more. I mean, he fought twice since Jermell's last fight. Jermell's last fight against Castano back in May of 2022. Canelo Alvarez has fought twice since that fight. Or I apologize, he's not fought twice since that fight, but he has fought more recently since that fight, and he's been more active in general. He's been fighting consistently twice a year, every single year. He had that year in 2021, I believe. He fought 3 times. A few years ago, he fought 3 times as well. Canelo Alvarez is the more active of the two guys. Usually Jermell fights once, at most twice a year. Canelo throughout the last few years has been much more active, and he's also was in the ring more recently. And the fifth and final reason is counterpunching. Now, Jermell Charlo, I think, in the early rounds of this fight is going to be throwing more shots than Canelo, but Canelo Alvarez's counterpunching is going to make Charlo pay early, and he's going to respect that power right off the bat because Canelo will be countering Charlo. He will get his respect early on, he will show his power early on, and that will definitely play a big part in the fight. Canelo Alvarez is a very good counterpuncher. Both fighters are good at counterpunching. I want to add this. Jermell is a very good counterpuncher, a very underrated counterpuncher. But Canelo Alvarez is arguably the best counterpuncher in the sport. I'm not going to say if he is or isn't. I haven't really thought about it to that extent. But he does have a case for being the best. He is a very good counterpuncher. He's gotten a lot of big victories by counterpunching. And it's a weapon that he's going to use on Charlo, especially because Charlo's the faster of the two guys. So usually when you're in a fight where you're the slower man, you kind of have to rely on that counterpunching ability because you can't really lead too much the action. You cannot lead the action if you're slower than the other guy. It's much tougher for you. And especially when you're the bigger puncher of the two, if he just counters him on the back foot and times those shots well, it'll go very well for him. I mean, we saw how good of counterpunching he did a couple years back, or now 7 years back, against Amir Khan, where Amir Khan was a smaller, quicker man, and I know Charlo is much better than Khan, but the much smaller, much quicker man, Canelo Alvarez, utilized that counterpunching and landed the perfect shot. So a quick little recap, a little breakdown of why Canelo Alvarez defeats Jermell Charlo. Reason number 1 is his size advantage. Reason number 2 is his power advantage. Reason number 3 is how much more experience he has as a pro fighter. Reason number 4 is how Canelo is more active and fights more often. And reason number 5 is Canelo Alvarez's counterpunching. That's my final thoughts, though. You guys tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. Who are you picking in this fight? What's your final prediction? I'm going to make a prediction video tomorrow, and that video is going to be more detailed on exactly how I see the fight going from round 1 to round 12, if it reaches that far, the exact way I see this fight playing out. I'm not going to fully reveal who I'm picking. A lot of people think I'm picking Charlo because I made that video yesterday. A lot of people are now going to think I'm picking Canelo. I'm not going to reveal who I'm picking, but this is a fight that I am looking forward to. Make sure to check out the video tomorrow if you want to see exactly who I'm going to end up picking. But I will say this, even though this is not the fight we should be getting, and I was pretty disappointed when it got announced because there's a lot of guys I would have rather seen Canelo face. David Benavidez specifically, but even Jermall at this point, even Demetrius Andre, because at least he's fought at 168. I wasn't very happy when Jermell got the fight, but now that it's coming and it's such a great card, I mean, Lubin versus Ramos is going to be a great fight. Now that it's happening, I'm learning to enjoy it. I'm excited for it. It's going to be a really fun fight. It's going to be such a fascinating matchup. I mean, this is a fight with two very good fighters. I have both of these guys high on my pound-for-pound list. This is going to be a fight with a lot of natural talent and ability, and hopefully Charlo fully hydrates so we get the best version of him, and hopefully we get the best fight possible. But that's my final thoughts, guys. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. Tell me your prediction. What do you expect from this fight? What are your keys for both fighters? Have a good one, guys. God bless. I'll see you guys later. Peace.